What is going on, everybody? Scott Hogan coming at you. We're going to go into a deep dive, how to get a little bit more out of those irons, especially the short, middle irons, and working on increasing your ability to make better contact. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. We're here, we are in the studio. I'm excited. It's always nice when we're getting to this time of year. It's sad because we're getting away from, playing some golf outside, but we are getting into, we want to get better season, right? So this is the time to work on your game, work on your swing. So we're gonna work on some of those things and some of the big things that I think can help people out as they're going through this winter. And if you have a device like Mevo Plus or any of the launch monitors that give you some of this data, I think you're going to be able to find that you can get better. So the big thing that I see from people is, they want to hit the ball farther, okay? They want to hit the ball better, okay? That's a good thing to do, okay? I would agree with that. Join the club. I want that too. But when they look at it, they automatically look at it and say, speed is going to be where you get it. Like, I got to swing harder to hit it farther. Now, that is obviously true, and I'm a big proponent of speed. I don't want to mix that. I really do like speed, but the key is you have to have speed where you can still control how you want to hit the golf ball. So that's why I really love speed training, because usually you can swing a little bit more controlled, but that is still faster than, your old, hey, I'm going to swing all out and lose all control of how I'm going to hit the golf ball. So we want to make sure we understand a couple of things when we're going through to hit the golf ball. So one of the big ones that I see when I work with people is we have to realize that the swing is just an arc, right? It's just an arc that we're making, okay? It's nothing too fancy. But the key is, if we want to hit the ball, and especially with our shorter irons, we want to hit it a little farther. One of the things that we have to do is we have to drive that golf ball a little bit, okay? We want to get that ball to take off a little lower, get it to go, and then, it's going to have spin and all that. That's going to help it rise as it goes. But we want to make sure we are compressing that golf ball a little bit here as we're going through. So to do that, what we need to look at is our angle of attack. Is your angle of attack enough down with these shorter clubs? A friend of mine used to play at University of Oregon, Ryan Fair. He used to tell me all the time, okay, with short irons and middle irons, you need to be violent into the golf ball. Now, you see this on TV. We see it all the time where pros are hitting short irons, especially when it's a full swing off the fairway. They are taking a massive chunk out of the ground, sending that divot. We want to do a little bit of that as well, okay? So if we're going to do that, though, what we need to understand is the body motions that are going to help us do that. What I don't want to do is I don't want to just say, all right, hey, hit down at the ball, and everybody just starts to throw the club, throw their hands at it, throw their body down, and that creates a whole new set of issues. What's going to happen is you're going to lower yourself where the club is going to get too close to the ground, and you're going to have to do things that actually raise it up. And so your contact's going to suffer. And remember, we just want this swing to be simple. I want it to be a swinging motion, right? I want it to be a swinging motion. But what I can do is I can take that arc, okay, and I can move it so I can catch the ball more on the downward side of the arc, okay? Now, how are we going to do that? Well, you could do some pre-shot stuff. You could move the ball back in your stance. If you did that, you would be catching it more on the down. That's going to bring up some other issues, though, so I'd be cautious about that. The other thing that you can do, though, is you can work on some motions, and this is what we see when you work with, something like Sportsbox, some sort of 3D software. You can actually see these motions a little clearer. And so what we see is it really comes down to kind of your sternum, right? Your center line of your torso. So that's basically going to be where my shirt buttons are and how those move, okay? So if I'm going to hit a shot here, okay, when I go back, the key is going to be, we hear this a lot that, hey, we want to shift forward in our swing, But what happens a lot of times is people will shift forward, but these buttons on the shirt are actually gonna lean back, okay? This is where you start getting things like early extension and stuff like that too. What you're gonna see is if I do that, I'm not really moving the arc of my swing, and actually that would be an effective thing maybe to do for a driver. But if I'm trying to hit short irons, middle irons, long irons, maybe a little, but you got to be careful because you don't have a ton of loft on those. So you kind of are trying to be a little more level there. But what I can do with these short irons then is I need to work on getting my buttons to move, okay? And then I can go through and work my swing all the way through to a finish. Now, when we look at these 3D diagrams and these graphs of how people move, what we actually see is if we want to hit it a little bit farther, okay, we go back, it's before we get to the top of our backswing, we turn back and that body is already starting to settle forward so we can bring that club and go through. So it happens, it's not, hey, bring it up to the top, be back here, shift forward, and then go. It is a fluid motion. As my body is turning, I'm almost falling towards the target as I go through. So let me show you one where I don't do that. Let's just go ahead and hit one. Okay, so I'm kind of hanging back. Didn't hit it bad. You can see my angle of attack is up, which with a short iron, no bueno. Okay, we do not want that. So you can see the ball doesn't go very far. 28 degrees on that launch, 28 and a half, okay? And you see that ball doesn't go very far. And let's just note the club speed, because I'm not sure if that's gonna stay the same. I'll try to keep it the same. But let's change that up now. Again, everything's the same, but I'm gonna bring it back, fall forward, and let's see what we can get as we go. Okay, you can see I even took a step through there, that's fine. You can see on a swing, I swung it a little faster. You can see I hit down on that ball, 8.6. Now that's maybe a little much, but you can see that ball jumped a ton of yards. Even with the club head speed, 6 miles an hour faster, at best, that would be, maybe 15 to 20 yards at best with the short iron. You're seeing that ball jump a lot more in distance up, what is that, 37 or 27? So we're getting up there a lot more just from the fact that we hit it. You're also gonna hit it better because you're gonna have a little bit sharper angle into the ball, less likely you scuff the ground or less likely you catch it thin, stuff like that. So the other thing we can look at is our launch. You can see that ball came out at 19 degrees. That's one thing. If you look at tour numbers, they really launched the ball a lot lower than most of us, and that's really how they're doing it. They're just getting more into that shift. It will help you pick up speed as well, but getting that dynamic of how we want to hit the ball is going to be really, really important. So I would be working on that a lot to start, checking that out, making sure I'm delivering the club in a way that's going to promote good contact, a good launch, more distance, and more predictable distance, which is the key thing. So that's what I would be working on as we're going through. And if you want to hit it a little farther, especially on that shorter end of the bag, give this a go and see how it works for you. All right, so that's a look at working on some parts of our game and kind of analyzing things. Again, we can take a look deeper at a swing and say, hey, look what's going on. This is how we want to move and how that has an effect on what the ball is going to do. That's really what we're trying to piece together. We don't want to just make changes to make them. They need to have a corresponding effect to the ball flight. So if you're looking for something, make sure you comment down below. We've got the whole winter to work on stuff to get better. I want to help you with your launch monitor, even if you don't have one. We want to help you get better at certain things in your game, so make sure you leave that comment down below. And as always, click that subscribe button. Do not miss out on some future videos we got coming up. I'm excited. Going to be helping some average golfers out, getting better this off season. Make sure you check that out so you can apply some of those tips to your game. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.